All right, good morning, folks. I am Jay. I'm here with Wesley Rosenberg from
Morning.
Building Waters. We're going to jump right into following up on the progress on the remodeling division. Last week, Wesley was wondering and concerned about the continuous underperformance of that department, and he was going to take some action. So, Wesley, take us away. What did you do?
So their numbers aren't looking good, and I was thinking, do I shut this department down or whatever? These guys are, I don't want to call them useless, but these guys aren't making us money, so they're dragging the company down. And so finally, to give it one last chance, I thought I'm going to ride with the foreman and find out, is it the guys in the field that are screwing up, or is it him not bidding enough on these jobs, or the material's too high and he's not quoting that correct? What's going on? Why is everyone he's a loser? And with riding around with him during the day, I rode with him all day long. I found out he doesn't take notes. And with not taking notes on the jobs, I says I started doing it myself, taking the notes and showing them how I want the jobs to be performed or how I want them to be quoted, put it that way. And I says, you got to have a pad of paper. You have notes. I gave him a format that says material, labor, material, this, that, and the other thing, and different line items that he could fill in really quick and easy when he goes to an estimate.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem was this: is that with him not taking notes and him getting the job and him sending his guys to the job, what's the problem? Problem is, guys don't know what the hell he bid for. So I says, you got to give them a piece of paper and let them know how you figured it and what you were thinking, giving them a deadline. You have 8 hours for this portion. You have 16 hours for that portion. Before they didn't have that, so they'd just work on their leisure and just, oh, you ready for a cigarette? Yeah, let's go have a cigarette and things like that. Rather
Yeah.
than saying, hey, man, we got to get this done. We only got 8 hours for this and we got 4 hours left or whatever. And that's what it was. He was giving his people no direction and no deadline. And since he's done that, he said things have already started changing around and he can see it. So where I'm going with this as a CEO grind is I want to tell people that are trying to start a business or now maybe they've been in business, but now they're hiring someone. And maybe you even trust them and everything's fine. I'm saying trust in regards to, they're good people and they'll do what you need them to do. But regardless, they still need a deadline. Still get, I need this by Thursday at 3 o'clock. I need this done in this many hours. I need this done in the next half hour. You got to give deadlines to your people or they just will not perform to the caliber that you know that they can. And it's because of you fell down by not putting a deadline on it, is what I'm throwing at this conversation right now.
No, I like it, and if you listen to our previous episode, um, I remember I asked the question. I said, you having the problem in this department, the numbers are not matching, right? The math ain't mathing, right? You're saying this is how much I should make for these jobs. I have a huge backlog of work that we haven't even gotten to, but I already know before I even started that I'm going to lose money just based on the performance they have. And then I asked, I said, "Hey, how are you estimating? Like, do you think you have an estimating problem?" Like, yeah, I think this guy doesn't know how to estimate. Plus, he doesn't know the hours, right? He's not charging the exact hourly rate that I asked him to. And then I said, "Yes, but sometimes you're actually estimating okay, but you are not managing correctly. You're not
Right.
managing
That's
the
what the
labor, you're not
problem
managing."
was.
That's right. So that's if folks hear that. And this is the primary, job of a supervisor or a foreman, right? Um, is identify and remove barriers from, their people, right? Allowing them fluidity to do the job. But in order to do that, he needs to set expectations. So, and that's what you're saying. Like, and I think you went even a little too far. Sometimes less is more. You just need to tell him this is what needs to be done today, and that's it. You know what I mean? You have a problem, you think you're not going to finish, raise your hand, I'll come and I help, right? So I think you went too far. Like you went further than what I would have gone, but you did just fine. I'm saying it's important as long as he's setting the expectation and there is something in place that will force him, like we did in other departments, right? I think you did in other departments, to follow up with the people, right? To follow up like before the deadline. You know what I mean? Way before the deadline. Like you said, oh, he wasn't even writing it down. Jesus, right? What? Like it's baffling, but it happens, and it's just not. It's not just on your company. Every single company, every single department. Sometimes people that usually write things down, they get a little stressed. Things kind of get off kilter, and they, you know, start not writing down, start not observing the things that we should observe, right? Because we're kind of on that sort of grind without any purpose, just kind of going with the flow. So we start not looking at things. But great work on that. Um, let's see. I guess I have one more question, but before I ask that question, let me see the time because we are going to have a guest today, Eric Cullenberg, and but so okay, and he's gonna come in the I think in about 8-10 minutes to talk about the CO grind going into Brazil now to do some recordings. Okay, he's coming to talk about an investment trip that I will be taking to Brazil to develop some of our franchises for Airbnb short-term rental in São Paulo. And Wesley, he's super interested in this type of thing, right? What he's going to do in the next 15 years of his life, what kind of different countries, different food, different culture he wants to visit. And I always tell Wesley on the private, like, there's no time like now to start living the life that you want to live once you retire, right? Once you like, you gotta test the water. So yeah, we're doing a mix of an investment trip on a real estate market and to invest in Airbnbs or even other types of investments that the Brazil are having right now. Their market is, their economy is growing. There are some federal investments there into development of real estate in the country. So it's an interesting moment to be. But going back to the theme of this department, that it is lackluster and it has been lackluster.
Right.
Um, Historically, the industry of remodeling, right, residential specifically, is a tough industry to get your margins right and control those costs and quality, et cetera, et cetera. So one conversation, I bet that people in the comments will say, "Hey Wesley, one conversation, man, ain't gonna mean nothing. How are you as the CEO going to make sure that it is moving in the right direction?"
Okay. I'm going to get back on this subject in a second. I know you said I went overboard,
Okay.
but I don't think I did. And I'll tell you why I did it the way I did it.
Okay.
Because if it's just verbal, and you got to take notes and things like that, I wanted a process in place, hard copy, piece of paper. I want him to be able to give that to the guy in the field to develop the guy in the field to be a leader so he can be a future leader. And when he gets a job, he gets the packet of that job, knows everything about it. On this day we're having the electricians come in. On this day we're having the plumbers come in. We have to be done by this amount of time. Your material is coming from this store. It should arrive at this time. This, that, and the other thing. So they know and they can run the job. What he was doing was, if they needed help, he's trying to go over there and give them a hand. Well, then they're doubling up all the labor on the job. trying to get it done because he never gave them a deadline in the first place. Now he's going over on hours because he never gave them a goal, an hourly goal. But I told him I do not want you going out there helping them all the time. I need these guys to grow as fucking. I need these guys to grow. I need these guys to grow as leaders. You know, and so that's why I went a little overboard on because I wanted to have a process in place. And how am I going to fix it? I'm going to continue to go to the guys now in the field and say, are you getting the information from your foreman? And I'm going to be looking at the numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is something a lot of the consulting firms that they have different names for that, which some folks call daily schedule control or something about control. You're controlling, the blocks of hours or the widgets or the your productivity target or whatever that is. Now you implemented this fairly quickly, within a week. It's not a huge team. I wonder, are your other departments, your other companies within that umbrella, the foremen, do they do the same thing? Are they writing things down or are they using a software?
No, they're writing things down. When you go into these individual houses outside, all you can bring is a pad of paper. So
Hmm.
they write things down. The reason why this department kind of got away from not making money or is because when we started implementing a bunch of stuff, KPIs in place to be able to track people's efficiencies and things like that, theirs were harder to obtain the efficiencies because the job duration were so long. And you couldn't find out through the job duration. You found out at the end of the job, did we make money or what our percentage was. So let's just pretend they do 4 jobs a month. Well, then uh, you only have readings of efficiencies of maybe 4 jobs, where in the other departments they may go on 15 jobs a day, or eight
Yeah.
jobs a day, and then there's you can see, I mean, you have immediate response to your answers, or immediate answers of efficiencies because they're billing it out right away. And that's where this kind of got disconnected, was that these guys felt like we're not being really watched for efficiencies because our jobs are longer, so they don't really necessarily have the same
Yeah,
processes. They
yeah.
don't have the same processes.
That's the big fallacy um of thinking that the complexity or the variety or the long time that it takes to actually bill, right, a job means that you can just go willy-nilly. So then you start, rushing in parts that you should slow down because things are not properly divided up. So which is an interesting fact when you are a one man show, like a man in a truck, two dudes in a truck, that type of thing. um, it is easier to just manage yourself. Now, once you become a foreman in a bigger outfit, all the things that you just kept in your head and that relationship that you build on an individual level, you need tools, right, that allow you to do that and sort of multiply yourself without effectively multiplying yourself. So it requires that. It requires more work. So as you grow in, you're trying to hire a carbon copy of yourself. Understand that there are things that you do that you will need to operationalize into the behavior per se of the person that you hire, and that is okay. It would be impossible for them to know everything that you have created to be successful to that point. So that's the message there. And it looks like, Wesley, it is time for our friend to join. Um, I thought we had a pause button here, but we don't. So we'll break and then start again. So this was today's episode. We followed up on the construction arm of Wesley's company in Wisconsin. And we touched on interesting aspects of when you're hiring a foreman that is really good at what he does, even if he was a man with, a guy that had a successful small team, that transition to a big team. You do want that expertise of that guy, but you will need to be his coach. And like Wesley said, hey, I had to go back there to develop them, right? If you're not writing it down, if they're not using on a day to day, the people doing the job, they're not learning. They're not learning your culture. They're not learning your system. They're not learning how to win. So that focus on that, continue teaching, continue investing in your people.
Sounds good.
All right. Comment below.
Take care.
Subscribe. Do the
Take care,
thing.
everyone. Talk soon.